Point Loma, an exclusive residential section of San Diego, the patio of Mrs. Paul Whittier, where once each year articles donated by San Diego's prominent citizens are sold to the highest bidders, all proceeds going to the Children's Hospital. Today's sales totaled more than $2,000 cash, a considerable achievement when measured in terms of medicines and relief from pain. Not all the guests had contributed. One in particular had stayed on the fringe of things, quiet and unnoticed, more interested in the grounds than in the bidding. The sailor was making his third venture into crime. His previous efforts as an armed robber had netted him only $8 and meager mention in the public prints. Mrs. Whittier could not believe anyone would want to steal money belonging to the crippled children. Nor could she permit it as long as there was breath in her body. A valiant heart, but a skull as fragile as Venetian glass. Mrs. Whittier died almost instantly. The sailor was now page one news. His reasons for exploring the grounds and leaving the auction briefly now came clear. His flight had been carefully planned. The sailor escaped in a stolen car, later found in the shopping center parking lot, wiped clean of fingerprints.
That the sailor, sought to pass 2 weeks for the brutal murder of one of San Diego County's most loved citizens, is also wanted for that armed robbery of the service station last month. At the scene of that crime, Patrolman George Peters, recently promoted to the rank of detective, talked to the sailor, let him walk away while he chased the wrong man, thus making possible the murder of Mrs. Whittier.
Press room, Andrews.
Well, are you listening to Glenn Thorpe?
I've been listening.
Well, is he right about Peters?
Mr. Thorpe is not one of my favorite people, but he is right.
I don't remember any Detective Peters' name in your copy.
I didn't use his name.
Why not? He let a hold-up man escape. I'd call that legitimate news.
Scotty, it was a cheap $4 theft. Peters is a rookie. He made a rookie's mistake. I didn't see any point in crucifying him.
You've been away from the city room. Sitting down there in that press room so long, you've forgotten how it's done. I edit the paper. You get paid for reporting the police news. All of it.
What happened was this. Peters let the sailor con him into chasing another guy in uniform. When he got back, the sailor was gone.
Put it on your teletype.
Scotty, that was a month ago.
If you're a cop, get a badge. If you're still a reporter, write it.
If Peters had been a little smarter, Mrs. Whittier might still be alive.
We're saying that in tomorrow morning's lead editorial.
We want to know why Peters was ever considered detective material. Who made that?
Ben, the sailor hit again out at the yacht basin.
Hold it, Scotty. The sailor just robbed again. I'll call you back. Detective Lieutenant Howard Finucane. He's not only a fine detective, he's a fine teacher. A great many rookies have learned their trade from Finucane, the policeman's policeman. Howard?
Ben?
Lieutenant.
333, 1182, 36 in afternoon.
Solomon said he never saw it before.
Better get on the phone, Peters.
Right away.
See it. What does it mean?
First letter of the last name, last 4 numbers of the serial numbers, the way Navy men mark their clothes. We found this on the deck of Donovan's boat.
Sailor lost his hat?
I didn't say that, Ben. I said we found this hat on the deck of Donovan's boat.
How long has Peters been working with you?
He started last night. Why?
You'd be in trouble. He's scheduled for a hearing. He's got to explain how and why he let that sailor get away.
Well, he made a mistake. Been spending most of his off-duty hours trying to correct it. I've made some mistakes in my time, Ben. Show me the man that hasn't.
There aren't any. But Peters is in the spotlight. Why ask for a share of his grief?
I must like it. I'd retire my pension and raise chickens. Good men are hard to get, Ben. You can't pay them too much. Least we can do is to help them learn their profession. Sometimes I wonder about you. With your seniority, you're entitled to a desk in the city room where it's comfortable. Why do you spend your time following the police around?
I have to. I'm the voice of your conscience.
Mr. Donovan?
You still here? You got the hat and the serial number. What more do you need?
What time did the suspect come aboard your boat?
It was just getting light, that's all I know. I heard him in the cabin. I got out of my bunk, and boom, he knocked me flat. Once wasn't enough. I had to try and get up. That's when he broke my nose. I already told you what he looked like. 25, light hair. He had a tattoo of an anchor on the back of his right hand. I saw it every time he pulled back to let me have it. He got me for $1,500 vacation money. I was on my way south for a month's fishing.
What time did you come aboard?
Oh, about 3 o'clock, I guess.
Well, the man who robbed you probably followed you out here. He must have known you were carrying a lot of money. How do you know? Where did he see it?
No place. Don't you think I know enough to keep my money out of sight? Wait a minute. I did pay the tab at the Sky Room. Dinner and drinks for 8. One of the guys at the table was kidding me about the size of my roll.
Sky Room at the El Cortez?
Yeah.
Were there any sailors in the place?
Sure, there's sailors everywhere in San Diego.
Were you in any other clubs?
No, we had dinner, we closed the place. As soon as I feel a little better, I'm going back and open it up.
Don't you bother. We'll take care of that for you, Mr. Donovan. We learn anything, we'll be in touch with you. Thank you.
Just get my dough back.
You say Donovan was sitting here?
Yes, that's right.
And the sailors?
There were 2 sailors sitting here at the bar. Now, there was one over there, there was one sitting over here where you are. How about out on the floor, girls?
I had 4 sailors, all at one table. 3 beers and a straight shot, waterback. No sailors in my section. Of course, tonight will be different. Today's payday for the Navy.
Well, that's 4 and 2. That's 6 altogether. Now, like I said, Donovan wasn't in orbit yet, but he was sure trying to get there fast. And I heard him telling all the people over his table that he was carrying so much money his legs was bowed. And if I could have heard it here, they could have heard it all over the place.
Well, not the ones I had. They left before Donovan started telling how much money he had. Oh, he wanted people to hear him. That's all he could talk about, money and that big fat boat of his. But he really had it. I saw the wad of bills. Big man, small tip. He had an $80 check and he left 2 singles on the table.
The sailors at the bar, they hear any talk about money?
Could have. They were here while it was going on. Now, this one that was sitting over here cut out around midnight. And this one here stayed till near closing time.
Can you describe them?
Ordinary, light hair. Oh, they were old enough I didn't have to ask them for their IDs.
I talked to the one sitting there between orders. I'd say he was, 25, trying to act older.
You notice his hands?
Yeah, I did. He had some change in front of him. He was trying to make the coin stand on edge. He had an anchor tattooed on the back of his hand.
Do you remember which hand?
Yeah, the right one.
There were 6 sailors in here.
Sky Room. Detective Peters? Peters? Say, aren't you the fellow I've been hearing about on the radio?
There could be. I say there were 6 sailors here at the bar. Did any of them complain about losing a hat?
I don't remember.
Right.
You know those fellows, they don't have any pockets, they don't have any belts.
Look,
Fine.
they're always losing their hats. The Navy's got our guy. Shore Patrol picked him up. He's wearing the tattoo and no hat.
Thank you very much. Let's see the back of your hands. Show the witnesses. Hold this man.
That's the man. I'd know that face anywhere.
He's the guy, all right. I can't be wrong about that tattoo.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Seven witnesses were sure Ralph Jones was a man known as a sailor. When interrogation failed to produce anything substantial in the way of alibis, Jones was brought to the San Diego jail and booked for suspicion of murder.
I've seen a bigger grin, but I can't remember when. Big day in my life. Big load off my back. That guy on the radio's been bugging me. I've got a hearing coming up. I've been getting it on the telephone. People telling me what a meathead I am to let a murderer get away. Now I can breathe easy again.
You're sure we've got the right man?
Blake and Donovan say so. The evidence says so. The hat, the tattoo.
Well, never mind what other people say. Is Jones the sailor you talked with the night of the service station holdup?
You mean you're not satisfied?
We're not paid to be satisfied. The man who made that leap from the cliff to the car was an athlete in top condition. Jones isn't. His pre-service record shows no interest in athletics of any kind. Jones isn't stupid. Why did he leave his hat?
Did Donovan recognize the tattoo?
Everybody in the sky room knew Donovan was carrying a lot of cash. Heard the name of his boat. There's a tattoo parlor a few blocks from the sky room.
Tattoo Charlie's, sure. He stays open as long as there's anybody on the street.
Tattoo artists use indelible ink pencils. And they put the design on the customer the way a kid puts rabbits on an Easter egg. Then they get busy with an electric needle. Sometimes the customer changes his mind. At that point, maybe our man did. I remembered a case like this once before. Ben remembers it too.
Then you talked to Charlie?
Yeah. He had a late customer for an anchor. After the man got the stencil in his hand, he changed his mind.
Goes on quick, comes off just as fast.
Now let's see how he takes it. Then we'll know if we got a detective or not.
Are you going to let Jones sit there and think he's on the hook for murder?
We want the murderer to think we believe we've got the guilty man. Ben, every once in a while I have to ask you for a favor. This is one of those times.
You want to kid the troops and the public, huh?
No, I want the murderer.
So say we all. All right. I'll go along with you until Scotty starts yelling. Then you've got to find some way to tell Jones so he can stop shaking.
All right, I'll do it. You're the voice of my conscience.
Two coffees, black, please.
72 tonight, 700 yard timeout.
You told me a good detective never buys the first answer.
48.96 and a half band.
I sure did today. As soon as we had Jones, I stopped thinking.
Well, it takes a while to learn to keep an open mind. Now, Jones's alibi for those last two jobs were pretty thin.
You're right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The man who killed Mrs. Whittier is headed for the gas chamber. He'll do anything he can to escape that. Well, let's say he sees a face in the bar mirror that looks something like his. Steals a hat, drops it on the boat. He has Jones's tattoo copied. He lets Donovan get a good look at the fake tattoo. We stick Jones with this job, the murderer's away ahead. If we don't, he hasn't lost a thing.
I should have known. I should have known as soon as I saw it the hat was a plant. It had been washed 100 times, square instead of round, the brim rolled. One look should have told me it belonged to a seagoing sailor.
So?
The guy I talked to in the service station had a brand new hat sitting squarely on his head. So now we start all over. Half the sailors in San Diego fit the description we've got.
There's a good chance the man we're looking for might be a civilian. He might figure that a sailor's uniform would make a fine protective cover. If he couldn't buy a uniform, he could steal one. Nobody would pay attention to his face. They just notice the gun or the uniform.
That could be.
He's got to hide that uniform someplace. No matter where he lives, he can't wear the uniform home because people will begin to wonder why he's never on duty. Let's take a look at some locker clubs.
Locker clubs are halfway houses for the enlisted men of the peacetime Navy. Here they store the civilian clothing they may wear while off the base. The object of the quiet search was a man of unremarkable appearance, light hair, around 25 or 26, who would have come to rent a locker wearing civilian dress, carrying a uniform. Normally, it's the other way around. A man who would have no friends in the locker room, who would come and leave alone. A man who wore his uniform at night, again, not the normal thing, and put it away when daylight came.
Billiken. Red Billiken. I don't know if this is the fellow you want. But he has light hair, about 25, 26. He's always alone. Locker 229. Come on.
This guy wears $100 jackets, custom made. But he gets mad at me because I charge him for $6 worth of tailoring. Uh-oh, there's the phone. Bring the key back.
Yeah.
Interesting stains.
Purple, like grapes. Like the stencil ink tattoo artists use.
Uh-oh. What have we here?
Mrs. Whittier's necklace. It's Billiken's ticket to the gas chamber. Let's, put it back where it was.
There was a bitter irony in the fact that the killer had based his operation in the 4.0 Club. 4.0, the Navy's highest rating of efficiency. An around-the-clock stakeout was immediately established in a hotel room that looked down on the entrance of the Locker Club and on the street. A warning system was installed. When Billiken appeared, the clerk had only to touch a button to sound a buzzer in the stakeout room. And so began the waiting, the weariest work in the world. A week of waiting while the key to Fred Billiken's locker gathered dust.
We've checked out the name. I'm convinced that Fred Billiken is an alias. He knows that necklace can be identified. That's why I left it in the locker. Got plenty of money. Got at least $2,000 from Mr. Whittier, $1,500 from Donovan. As far as he knows, we've got Jones on the hook for that murder and therefore for everything else.
So?
So Billiken's not about to go back to that locker. Not unless we set him up, Ben.
Set him up? How?
Well, I've talked to the Whittiers. They value the necklace at, maybe $1,000 or $2,000, but they'll go along with us with anything we do. Now, suppose you run a story on page 1 saying the necklace is worth $50,000. The heirs and the insurance company have just announced that.
That may bring him in. Let's make it $60,000. Go first class. There's always a way. When you don't know a man's address, write your invitation in bold black type. Put it on the corners and on the front porches of the city. Fred Billiken suddenly had 60,000 reasons to return to the 4.0 Club. He needed less than 20 seconds to make up his mind.
I'm betting on a convertible. That's what he stole for the Whittier job.
The odds in your favor. Once they establish an MO, they generally stick with it. Hello, Ben.
You know something? It would take more than $60,000 to get me to come after a necklace that would tie me to a murder.
You're not a thief. Pinokin.
This is John Scott.
Yeah.
Andrew speaking.
I'm glad I finally caught up with you. How's that stakeout coming?
Nothing yet.
Too bad, Ben. We've gone with you as long as we can. We're breaking this wide open in the morning edition.
Now, wait a minute, Scotty.
I want a recap story from you with special attention to Rookie Peters. Chapter and verse. How he fouled up, when, and where. And don't forget that sailor sitting in jail while your friends spend the day playing gin rummy.
Scotty, listen to me.
Don't argue, man. Do it. Or somebody else will. And you can try for a job on the force and a badge you can wear all the time.
A couple of sailors just went into the 4.0.
Peters had almost given up hope. He knew his time was running out.
Civilian just went into the 4.0. Could be. He's the right size.
No signal. Wrong man. We wait some more.
I've got a hunch. I think I'll just check it out. Peters.
Wrong hunch or wrong move. That's all we need to finish it.
According to Scotty, we're already finished.
Who's the civilian just came in?
Nobody come in.
All right there, mister. Take a look over that street. Lieutenant. he got?
That's as far as he's going under his own power.
Nice job. That's a good hunch. Congratulations.
Ben, when you write this story, don't use the word rookie anymore. Call him detective.
Manhunt is produced with the cooperation of the San Diego Police Department in conformance with the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics.